Hey everybody, Rob here. In this video, we're going to cover off the most frequently asked questions about the SVL97-2. Steve, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm excited. We've been running some promotions on this machine and been getting a lot of frequently asked questions. So we're going to cover off on some of those today. Is that all right with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yep.
I want to kick off by saying, who is this machine for?
The 97 is built for the heavier contractor, like a larger earth moving company. It is over 5 tonnes in weight and it is over 2 metres wide. So it's limited in its access for backyards and stuff like that. So you know, if you're building house slabs, large construction sites, moving a lot more dirt around than you would with a smaller machine, larger bucket capacity, and a lot higher in the hydraulic oil flow. So it just brings it up into that next level of skid steer.
Yeah, it makes sense. And what are the key things that you would want somebody to know about this before we get into these FAQs?
Yeah, so it is, as I said, it is over 5 tonne. It's over 2 metres in width as well, and the auxiliary line flow is 152 litres a minute. So having that available gives you a lot of scope to run a lot of implements without having to go and hunt for oil as a standard flow.
So that was one of the FAQs, what attachments can be fitted onto the front of this. And when I asked you that, you said, well, whatever you want, and that's got to do with the oil flow, right?
Yes, correct, it has. And obviously weight has something to do as well, but you know, it will run a road profiler, your fork tines are standard, your bucket, it will run a forestry mulcher, not a problem. It will run the just a normal flail mower because it's got the oil capacity there to run it.
Yeah,
so
excellent.
Yeah, and that's just a few things. And then you go to the lower flow items like augers and things. That's just a standard type of item that you would put on it, and they'll run on the low flows.
Yep.
Without any hassle. And it also has good capacity for lifting. So for that larger implement, you can put it on there and be quite comfortable with doing it.
Okay, makes sense. One of the questions we keep getting asked over and over again is how easy is this to operate? I mean, all track loaders operating in a very similar way. Is there anything different that we need to know about this, or is it just the standard operating procedures that you would be used to?
Look, as a skid steer, they're pretty much the same as, you know, forward and reverse on one lever and then your controls on the other. But this is still hydraulically driven. So your controls on this machine are hydraulic. They're not electric over hydraulic. You don't have a delay. That's one of the things with them. So when you're acting on your levers, you push your lever forward and you go forward and you move it a little bit, and it's because it's proportional in the way the hydraulic pump's set up, then you're going to get that response. So instead of having to do little nibbles at it, you can get a nice contour around for, say, in a cul-de-sac, you can get that happening.
So there's no lag at all in the controls?
No, there's not. No, it gives you a nice free movement.
Okay, tell me about the visibility in the cabin as well, because there's been some questions about that. Can I see in and out pretty easily? The front, the door is like the standard Kubota door, which makes things really easy getting in and out because the door lifts up vertically instead of opening
correct.
Sideways like that.
And that stops you. That gives you the ability, if you've got a larger implement on. If you put a dozer blade on that, you're not having to worry about the door hitting the blade to get out with a swing door disadvantage. With a rolling back door, you can put a taller implement on and you can still get out of your machine. So that's a great feature we have, and that's across our SVL range. In regards to operation, it is easy to operate, as we said. It's got the servo controls. Visibility, you can see the corners of your bucket. If you're looking for the corner tip visibility, this machine has it. You've got plenty of windows, they open sideways, like forward and aft, so you've got plenty of ventilation as well, and a nice high seat position so you can see down on the top of your bucket.
Most importantly, is it air conditioned?
Yes, it is.
That's a question that's asked continuously for some reason. Of course, it's air conditioned.
Yeah, no, it is. It comes standard with factory air.
And what about the seat?
Suspension seat.
Yeah, people are asking all of these really simple questions. They can't seem to find that information for whatever reason. That's why I'm bothering you with these
that's okay.
Annoying newbie simple questions. All right, this is a vertical lift machine. What's its capacity? Over
4 tonnes for the lift, but that's at full capacity. So as a machine that's travelling around, the safe working load really is 1451. The 4 tonne comes into it as a square on load. The 1451 comes into it where you're travelling around with a bucket up in the air, so that's your safe. So that's 35% of the lifting capacity of the machine is what they label the SWL at.
So there's plenty of weight that it can lift?
Yeah, correct.
So there's no
at ground
issue
level.
With that at all?
No, there's not.
Yeah.
No, none at all. And it will load a truck out, no problems at all. The height-wise, dumping into high-body trucks and things like that, that's not a hassle. It's got plenty of height, and it also has a vertical lift as well, so as a factory standard.
So the vertical lift, for people that don't know, the reason that that's good is so you can get closer to the truck and you're tipping to the far side of the truck, so you're not.
Yeah, well, it just keeps the load level.
Yep. As it comes up.
Yeah, correct.
Get the load in to the truck there.
Yeah, it keeps it so you don't have to fight the machine and readjust everything to get the load into the... If you're using pallet forks, for example, it comes up, keeps you load level without tipping it off.
Okay, so this machine's full of electronics and electronic control units. Do you want to talk a little bit about those hydraulic controls and what some of the differences are in this one and the others that are out there?
Yeah, so on the engine, it is a common rail Kubota engine. It's 97 horsepower. It's a great engine. They've matched Kubota match everything to do with their pumps, but the way the electronics have been set up in this is called an anti-stall system. So it won't stall. You can bury it into the load and it's not going to stall out on you. And that's controlled through a conversation that the hydraulic system and the electronics and the engine are having between themselves constantly, and they're monitoring each other. And if you're getting too hard on it, then it backs everything off and then it just gives you that anti-stall. So it's a good feature. There's nothing worse than trying to drive into a heap and then the machine stalls out on you. That's just not something you want to be doing.
So that just allows the operator to concentrate on what they're doing instead of having to worry about operating the vehicle and concentrating on what they're doing at the same time.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So that must be a really useful feature.
It is, and it also helps with fuel consumption as well. So it's just one of those assists. Those guys that have got them, they know what I'm talking about when they see these machines. They've been in them a long time, and they know exactly what I'm talking about. You've got to sit in it and operate it and get a feel, and then once you've got that, they're known for having their power.
So a common question we seem to be getting asked a lot as well is in relation to the maintenance of this machine. How easy, how hard is it to do? Is it easily accessible? Is it a one-piece cab? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the cabin on this one is a two-piece cab. It's actually the cabin and the floor are separate. So there's 2 bolts in the front of the cabin. You undo those bolts and lift the whole cabin up. The floor pan stays where it is, but that gives you access to the hydraulic system all at the back door and your hydraulic filters. So that's not so much a problem. As I said, it's 2 bolts, gas strut, so it's not difficult to lift. There is a safety catch on the back for to hold the cabin up.
Yep.
And then a manual catch as well. And then on the back side, the radiator with, again, 3 bolts comes forward. It's on a pin, and that gives you access to the engine. So as far as getting to things is concerned, it's not that much difficult to do.
Okay, so another random question that seems to be coming through as well about DPF. This obviously has DPF?
Yes, it does. So this machine has a DPF and AdBlue. Yep. So it's got the 2. So given the horsepower and the pollution control required for Australia, they've had to put the AdBlue in it as well. AdBlue is not an issue. The key is just to use good AdBlue. Don't go and buy the cheapo stuff. No, cheapo stuff's no good. So if you're putting AdBlue into a machine, you make sure it's good quality.
And the Kubota DPF is just operating the whole time the machine's operating.
Correct.
Anyway, there's nothing you need to do with that.
There's nothing you can do with it. And most things now, you go and buy a brand new car and they've got a DPF, so we don't have to necessarily be afraid of DPFs.
Yep.
I think that fear should be gone. It's about operation and keeping the revs high when you're operating it and not letting it idle and stuff like that. That's all healthy things for the DPF to keep it going. What do they say? Drive it like you stole it. I think that's a well, it is a good term, and I think that's with anything with a DPF, you nearly need to do that, and that's regardless whether it's Kubota or any other brand of thing on the market. Diesel engines in technology haven't changed since they were invented a long time ago. They still blow smoke. The only difference is nowadays you can't see it.
Yep.
So that's encapsulated in the DPF. So if you're trying to eliminate that smoke, then that's something you need to.
That's something you need on the vehicle.
Well, if you're running a machine at low idle and you're loading it up, it's going to be loaded and it's going to blow smoke.
Yep.
That's how it happens. That's just how it happens, and you can prove that by loading an older diesel up and taking off in 4th gear, for example.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Same thing happens.
Yeah, same thing. So the AdBlue is just an additive to help to cling to the carbon particles that are emitted. It just keeps them together, and that's what the AdBlue is for. We've put a door on the AdBlue tank on this thing now, so you can't mix the 2 up.
Can't make a mistake.
No, you can't, and that has happened a lot. So AdBlue are 2 separate things.
Okay. All right. The next bunch of questions are around the ground clearance and speed. How high is it? How fast does it go?
So this particular machine is one of the highest in the clearance. It's got 293 millimetres through the centre, which is very high. Good for stockpiles and stuff. You're not going to get that material buried up underneath you. And travel speed, it's 8 till 11. So it's up there. It's a pretty good machine for that side of things if you want to get around your job. Yep. It's all dependent on your ground conditions, obviously, but if you're just going on a straight run at 8, 11k an hour.
That's good enough?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty quick.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's pretty quick.
All right, as we're coming to the end of these FAQs, some of the questions have been about the tracks and the rollers. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So this machine has a fixed undercarriage, so there's no suspension systems in it. It's rollers and a drive sprocket. So the bottom roller is a triple flange that keeps the tracks from wandering off as you're operating it. The very front one is a double flange, which is very important to keep the track on the machine. And the very back one, they run a single flange inner. So as the whole idea of that is to keep the tracks clean as they go over the top. It pushes the dirt out through the track, so you're not getting that over tensioning issues, and it's enough to keep it on. So most of your drive for the machine is where it's loaded is from the front. That's where you're pushing and turning, so that's why you need a double flange at the front.
All right, Steve, that brings us to the end of the known questions. Is there anything that we left out that you want to add to it?
Yeah, so Kubota comes with a standard hydraulic hitch. You don't have to get out of the cabin to release your implements, and they've got the quick release fittings that you can depress to release the pressure out of the hydraulics before you detach anything else. So it's a matter of just, you still have to get out of the cab, release your pressure, get back in, change implements, hydraulic hitch, and away you go again. It is quick.
Nice and quick. All right, folks. Thanks so much for sending your questions across to us. Hopefully that answered everything that you were looking for. If you've got any more questions or you want to know some more information, just leave your details down below in the comments and we'll reach out to you. Or you can reach us at Australian Hammer Supplies. And again, all of the details are down below. Thanks, Steve. We'll see you next time, mate.
You're welcome. Thanks, Rob.
Bye.